Hi, this is McJty with my next episode of my Let's Play. This episode we are going to play a lot with my new mod RFTools Control, so it may be a bit technical from time to time, but okay. I will try to do the actual programming off camera and just explain a bit what I did, so let's get on to it. So I need some hardened clay, and I think it's a good opportunity to try to use RFTools Control with the new auto crafting, but in a way that people may not expect. So this is the crafting station, and let me see if I can make a processor. I think probably not, because I'm making this one, and okay, I need more gold like that, and then I need cactus green, and they haven't grown yet, so let me first fetch one of those and then I will make the setup and explain it. Okay, so I made the processor, but to access the crafting station it needs a network card. So network card, that's this one, and of course we need a CPU. We start with the low tier now, and I'm out of this one again. And we need access to our storage, so I'm out of ink sacks. There's bound to be a squid somewhere here. Yes. Okay, that should do. So now we can make our storage card. The storage card has to be linked to our storage scanner, and then we can insert the needed components, the CPU, network card, and storage. We need to set up the network, so net setup, let's call it craft. So it found no nodes, okay, but one crafting station. So now that one is connected, and then we need a program card. Out of paper and not enough of this as well. Okay, so I'll be back, need to fetch some things. So the idea is that whenever we request an item, so that's this event, and the item that we want to request is this one, hardened clay. Close. We don't specify an inventory. The inventory is if you have an inventory with crafting cards, but that's another thing. I'll show that later. So we have, whenever we request hardened clay, what do we want to do? So first we need to craft clay from the clay. We also need a crafter, right? So a workbench, I mean. Workbench like this. And let's put that one. I may want to move this at some point. So this is just a regular workbench. We need one crafting cart for the crafting cart. I think I may, for some reason, hold on. Okay, I'm sure. I don't know why it wasn't saying that, but something is wrong with the recipe, but I think I know what is wrong actually. So let me card paper. I hope I can craft it in a regular crafting table. So like this. It's normally not stackable, so that's a vector problem, why it was confused there. So I will configure this. I need, let me fetch some clay. Clay. So now this is configured, and let me put it here, just a fixed crafting cart, and then the program. So we need to get ingredients from our storage scanner. Oh yes, it's better to insert this one here, like that, and then we can, that's the north side. So we say the crafting cart is at the north side, and it's because this one is sided, so to access this you need to specify one of the horizontal sides. So that's this one. Inventory cart, and item that we want to craft. Let me make one. Oh yeah, we can leave this empty because of course we can it when we get a craft event we get a ticket, and if you leave it empty, the item, it will take default from the ticket. So we need to specify where the ingredients will go. 9 slots, and let's not forget to allocate these slots. So now we have the ingredients here, and we can send those to the inventory, to the workbench, which was at the north side, and we access up because we want to access this one, that's from the up side. So, oh, this is the wrong operation. We need to push multiple items, of course. This is this one. Okay, again. North, up. We start fetching from 0 to 8. That's our internal slots. And first external slot is 0. Okay. So let's try this already. See what happens if we insert it. If you now go to the crafting station, you see this one. You can click and it says wait. And if you missing crafting card. Okay, so it was not able to find this one, so I probably made a mistake. Let me cancel this. Take out the program and see what I did wrong. So that's north from the processor. North. I will check out what's wrong here. Okay. Okay, of course. I am specifying the ingredients for the item from the ticket, but the item from the ticket is hardened clay and not clay. So I need to specify that I want the ticket crafting ingredients for clay instead. And it must have this. Okay. Let's try it now. Fetch ingredients. Oh yes, they will. Yeah, they are here. So it worked. It fetched ingredients and it's ready to craft. But the program is not finished yet. So yeah, let's cancel this and complete it. So, the stupid wolves. Where are they? I'll be back. So, push multiple items, and now we have to fetch the result from the crafter. So that's this one, fetch items from the crafter, which is at the north side, and the downside is to access the output. Slot 0 and we fetch 1 and it goes to slot 9, which we will promptly allocate as this one. Okay, so now we have we should have the clay there, and now we send that to the south side, to this one. So that means from internal that's north side there, south side, sorry, there. I'm not sure which slot it should be, so we just write 0, see where it ends up. Okay. And the internal slot is 9. And let's see if this works. So we request one of this. Invalid inventory. Okay, but it got the clay, so that part works. Did I specify the wrong location? So this is south, and I did south. Configure IO. Let's set the sides to input and output and see if that helps. Okay, but then that's then south, and this is the north side of the block that I'm accessing. Okay, trying again. Sometimes you have to debug a bit before things start working. Let's remove this one. Check. Again, invalid inventory. I have to check out what's wrong with this one, why I can't input it. But, well, you get the basic idea of what I want to achieve here. I think the problem might be that this one doesn't support the new inventory API, and I was planning to add support for the old inventory API anyway, so maybe it will work then. But I will check it out and see to add support. Yeah, like that. So this is I am having a new version of RFTools Control, and the program works now. So I click hardened clay. It says wait. It says OK. It doesn't come here because I made the program when the craft is marked OK. I decided to set it to storage, so the storage system instead of back to the crafting station, because in fact when you click here it's not doing nothing more than sending a signal to the program, and you can mark it OK any way you want, but you can in fact do whatever you want as a result of that request. There's also a loop there. It's already done. So it does this 10 times, then it sends the result to here, and when it's done it gets the result back and sends that to storage. So that's a way for me to easily make hardened clay. I have clay enough in any case. I also changed the program below. Let me go check that out for you. Should put an anchor there. So it was just running because let me put those back. I need to refine the program a bit more, but so I also added a check, so it counts how much coal that I have, and if it is greater than 1000 then it will do this, otherwise it won't, just to make sure. But I will somewhat lower the frequency of this because it takes a while for the power to go up again, like this. I was exploring the nether for glowstone, and I found this. There's a new vanilla block that I hadn't seen yet. Harvesting it because it has some interesting abilities that I might want to try out. And there's a lot of it. For example, one interesting ability of this block is that it remembers lighting. So if I place a torch here, things are lit up. If I then remove the block, the light doesn't go away. So it's interesting. It's a very interesting feature. So this is the look I'm going for. One of these four is painted glowstone. I'm doing this from the top to the bottom, so that lights up the walls pretty well. The ones where possible are windows. I think this looks good. It makes it brighter and overall look nicer, I think. Okay. I worked a bit further on the base, the deep resonance base, and I made an elevator here with 4 levels. So control is this area, generator is at the very bottom, processing is where all the liquid processing for deep resonance will go on. But then I made a special platform which I want to work on first before going to deep resonance, and that's games. Let's go there. Well, let's first also see the other thing, the other floors. So that's processing, which isn't finished yet, and then generator. Which is where the deep resonance generator itself will go. So let's first go back to games. The idea is here, I want to dedicate an entire floor to games made with RFTools Control. And that's what I'm going to work on right now. The reason I do this before I delve into deep resonance is because RFTools Control is new, and I want to first test if everything works as expected. So it's for me a kind of way to test things, and also to show people what is possible. And what I'm going to do here is make simple games, like for example Mastermind and memory games, all in this area, and it will have a more colorful theme like this one, the yellow and other colors. So let's first make some rooms where everything will go. I'll be back. So I'm in the game room. I made it a bit nicer, but it's not finished yet. And here I want to make a memory game where you get a sequence of 4 possibilities, and you have to repeat it, and the game ends. You have to try to remember as much as possible, and the game ends when it's done. So, not exactly sure how I'm going to do it, but well, this is basically an experiment, so let me gather up some more materials and think a bit on what I want to do here. So I decided to set up a quarry in the nether to get quartz and glowstone and all that nice stuff. What are you doing there? Basically that area from top to bottom. So it should leave a huge hole, but it's the nether, not that important. And dimensional charts, this is also important. Back to working at the memory game. I changed things a little, decided to go with buttons. So, just these should be disabled, and these as well. Why is this coming back? Okay. So these buttons directly connect to the 4 nodes here. So A, you see in the tooltip, this is A, B, C and D, so that I can reference them from the program. And so these are the buttons that you're going to press for the sequence. And there are also 4 drawers with 4 different items, of which I had a lot, just random items. And these 4 items are going to be inserted in this chest, which is basically the memory. So every time the sequence gets bigger, a new item from one of these barrels will be inserted in one of these slots. And so you're not supposed to look at this. Of course, I will close this off once it's ready. I also made a new game thing. So what this does is, say you have items here. Just say that this is the random sequence, just a test. And if you then press new game, the chest will be cleared again and it will be distributed back to the barrels. So let me show the program that does this. So the screen does an interaction module from RFTools Control. It has a button and a signal, name of a signal. So when this signal arrives, we set redstone on the back on the west side of node C to 15. We wait 120 ticks and then we disable redstone again. And while that redstone signal is active, this conduit, which is set to active with signal, will be active and the items will get distributed. So that's how to set a new game. But now I have to make the actual game, so the new game should also start the sequence for the first random item here. And well, let me program that and I will be back. For some reason this slot isn't always working and I have no idea why that is. I have to check that. Oh, it would help if I would put the right thing in it, of course, but still sometimes this slot behaves a bit weird. So I made a little progress. If you now press the new game, the chest will be cleared, and after a while it will pick one random item from one of these four. So how this is done? With this program, which may look a bit complicated, but it's actually, well, it is complicated. So this is the event for new game. It just clears everything. It sets variable null. That's the index that we keep for the whole thing. And then it says signal next, so next item to pick, and that's this routine. This basically makes a random value between 0 and 3, so 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and sets that in variable 1. And it compares to 0, then it will pick from node A, compares to 1 from node B, from compares to 2 from node C, and otherwise node D. Everything will go back to this one, which will, the item that was extracted, will push it in the next slot of the diamond chest, and then it adds 1 to the index, like this. And so every time this signal is called, we shift one place in the game. So that's how far I am at the moment. So I made some progress. I had to fix a few bugs, but let me show you what happened. So just pressed the new game. So what it did was it put hardened clay there. So I swapped the materials for 4 versions of hardened clay, because this one is white, it has metadata 0, this is metadata 1, damage value 2 and damage value 3, and I have an opcode that can read this, so that makes it easy to convert each item to a value between 0 and 3, so that I can access these one. So now I started the game. Let's adjust, this is just simulation, the game is not really ready, so I press next a few times. So now there should be 5, so 1 from start and then 4 extra. So this is the sequence how it built it. So every time I press next, another version will be in, another clay will be put in there. So 3, 1, 1, 2, 2. Let's see if I then press the loop. 3, 1, 1, 2, 2. And if I would press next another time, 3, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. Apparently another 2 got added. Yes, indeed. So how does this work? It's getting a bit complicated, I must admit. So this is again the new game signals, just resetting everything. That's the next one, so every time this is pressed, a random value between 0 and 3 is generated. It's compared to 0, 1, 2, 3. It fetches from one of these 4 barrels and pushes it into the next slot, which is in variable 0, and it adds 1 to variable 0. So variable 0 is the progress variable. It indicates how far in the game we are. So if I, oh, there's apparently something wrong, I have to check that. So we are not at 6, now at 6. Let's clear that. I wonder when it exactly occurs. It's when it stops. I think it goes one too far, but that's not a big deal. Okay, it's no problem. So that's this one. This next signal is the procedure that takes care of going to the next stage, to advanced progress, and it's also triggered by the next button there. And then I have the loop signal, and what this does, it starts at 0. It puts that in variable 1, so variable 1 is used for the loop. It loops, and there's just the green output and no red output, so it just stops when it's ready. It examines the item in the memory chest, so from 0 to the end. So that's a problem. It actually goes to 6 and there's nothing at 6, so I have to change that a bit. But I will do that later. And it examines the items, it gets the damage from that item, and it compares to 0, 1, 2, 3, and it, for every, depending on the result of that, it uses inventory A, B, C, or D. Those are the four those are the four Ds and the four redstone outputs for the lamps. And then what it does is it stores that in a variable, and then it sets redstone variable 2, that's a working variable. It sets that to 15, it waits 10 seconds and sets that back to 0. So this is what loops the entire operation. But we are at the end of the episode now. It's wrapping up time. I will continue with this in the next episode. So the basic operations are there, but now I need to put everything together to make the actual game with the error and so on if you do something wrong. So, but that will be for next episode. So if you have questions or remarks, just let me know in the comments and I'll try to reply to them. But anyway, see you next time.